For the teapot cozy, we are using 4mm knitting needles and around 30 grams of double knit wool. This cozy will be made to fit a 6-cup teapot. To start the main body of the teapot cozy, make a slip knot. And then cast on 40 stitches. Once you've casted on all stitches, knit for 60 rows. Once you've finished 60 rows, you now want to knit row 61. So row 61 is knit 1, knit 2 together, then knit until the last 3 stitches, knit 2 together, and knit 1 last stitch. And then for row 62, just knit all stitches. Repeat rows 61 to 62 4 more times. Then to finish, cast off all stitches. Cut the yarn and thread the last stitch. Now that you've finished one side of the teapot cozy, make a second identical one. We're now going to sew the 2 sides together, leaving gaps for the teapot handle, the top and the spout to fit through. The lengths to sew are shown on screen. Now that the sewing is finished, we're going to put our cozy onto the teapot. So now we're going to add 3 crocheted flowers on either side. To make the first crochet flower, take some spare DK wool and make a slip knot. Then take a 4mm crochet hook and chain 11 stitches. Make a slip stitch into the initial chain stitch. Then chain 10 stitches and make a slip stitch into the same chain stitch as before. Repeat this last instruction 3 more times so that you have 5 petals on your flower in total. To finish this flower, cut the yarn and thread it through the last stitch. Then make an identical flower. To make the second flower, make a slip knot and chain 4 stitches. Make a slip stitch into the initial chain stitch to form a ring. Then chain 1 and make 9 double crochets into the center of the ring. Now you want to make a slip stitch into the initial chain 1 stitch. For round 2, slip stitch into the next stitch and then make 3 treble crochets into the next stitch. Repeat these 2 steps 4 more times. Finally, make a slip stitch into the initial stitch. Cut the yarn and thread it through the last stitch, and then make an identical flower. For the third flower, make a slip knot and then you want to chain 4 stitches and make a slip stitch into the initial chain stitch to form a ring. Then chain 1 and make 10 double crochets into the ring. make a slip stitch into the initial chain 1 stitch. And then for round 2, chain 1 and then make 2 double crochets into each stitch. Now make a slip stitch into the initial chain 1 stitch. For round 3, slip stitch into the next stitch, and then make 2 treble crochets into the next stitch. Then make 2 treble crochets into the next stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. Repeat these steps 4 more times. Finally, make a slip stitch into the initial stitch. Cut the yarn and thread it through the last stitch. Then make an identical flower. So now we have our 2 sets of 3 flowers. Next, we are going to pick where we want the first flower to go, and then we will take the Cosy off of the teapot to sew the flower into place. Now that's sewn on, we will pick where we want the second and third flowers to go and sew them on as well. Now that's done, we are going to sew the second set of flowers onto the other side in the same way. And that is the teapot cozy finished. If you'd like to find more of our patterns, subscribe below or visit our website at janeswool.co.uk for more information.